Little Saturday live stream. How about a quick one to react to Nnamdi Madubuike's fate along with Broderick Washington, some game day practice squad elevations that the Ravens just announced as we get ready for ready. I actually haven't been drinking on this Saturday, contrary to popular belief. I did just get back from Ferg's in downtown St. Petersburg. For those of you that are familiar with the area, it has an underground, like attached pathway to Tropicana Field where the Rays used to play and hopefully will play again at some point when the Trop is fully repaired after last year's hurricane. But anyway, I'm just walking in the door. There's a ton of college football games on right now. The Ryder Cup, the USA is getting absolutely smacked. But I wanted to hop on here and offer some reactions to all the moves that have been made so far today, what it might mean for the Ravens and what that might mean going into specifically big pivotal matchup coming up tomorrow. It's a 4:25 kickoff in Kansas City, Chiefs and Ravens. So thanks for being here. As always, I'm Bobby Trosset. If you could like the video on your way in, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already done so, hit that notification bell. You guys know how it goes by now. Let's get to the news at hand. And it is indeed what we all feared, I think, what a lot of us have been following this situation over the last couple of weeks feared. And now it's come to fruition. Nnamdi Madubuike has been placed on injured reserve, as has Broderick Washington, one of his interior defensive line running mates. Both players now will miss at least the next 4 weeks. Obviously, you guys know the schedule, I would think, like the back of your hand at this point. It's at Kansas City. It's then home against Houston and the Rams, leading into a bye week. And then out of the bye, week 8? Later in October, a month from yesterday, they will host the Chicago Bears before it's a Thursday night game in Miami against the Dolphins. So what does this mean? Again, for the next 4 weeks, the Ravens will be without their top interior presence in Nnamdi Madubuike, and somebody that a couple years ago was paid handsomely in Broderick Washington was extended, kind of in a surprise move. Certainly hasn't lived up to the expectations of that extension and that investment the Ravens made in him. But ultimately, this is what they're dealing with now, going in against a team that, yes, doesn't necessarily through 3 weeks scare you when it comes to their rushing attack, knowing that Patrick Mahomes actually right now is the team's leading rusher. Pacheco has not looked like the Pacheco of past in Kansas City, that downhill violent runner, right? Somebody that's just going to run through you and over you. But that doesn't mean that given the state of this run defense, he can't get back to doing exactly that coming up tomorrow at Arrowhead. So, again, some of the optics around this related to Nnamdi Madubuike have not been good. This was John Harbaugh earlier this week.
I would say I am concerned about it, but I'm not really in a position to comment on it right now. I haven't been given the okay to comment on it at this point. So he's not going to play this week, I can tell you that. And we're going to have to see going forward when they know what they need to know.
John, we noticed there were two.
So admitting again that he is concerned earlier this week, I think we all have been concerned since this news first dropped. A reminder of what the injury report consisted of, the final one that is yesterday that was released by the Ravens. Remember, Travis Jones is not a guarantee to play in this game. Okay, he's dealing with a knee. He was a DNP on Wednesday and then limited Thursday and Friday. He was not available towards the end, the closing moments of that Week 3 Monday night game earlier this week against Detroit. So, again, it is not a surefire thing to assume that big number 98 will be available. I'll have more on that in just a bit. Isaiah Likely, while he was upgraded to a full participant on Friday, I don't think it's a guarantee that he'll be back as well. I hope he is. And he was upgraded after being limited in practice Wednesday and Thursday to full on Friday. He's still listed as questionable. Madubuike and Washington, we've known about this since yesterday. They are both out. Kyle Van Noy is questionable after missing the Week 3 Monday night game with a hamstring. And we know that Ricard continues to be out on the offensive side of the ball. So that's where things stand right now. As you see in the second part of this release by the Ravens, they have made a couple practice squad activations for the second consecutive week. Zaire Mitchell-Payton, as he has every single week, I should say. Brent Urban will be a game day activation for the second consecutive week. But as for Mitchell-Payton, one of the undrafted tight ends, he has been called up to the 53-man roster. Brent Urban has as well. So in terms of, and I should say, both of those players have been signed. Okay, let me be clear on that. There's a difference between the Okoye and Tupou practice squad activations, they're just elevated for the day. Okay, had they not elevated Mitchell Payton, the undrafted rookie they've brought up every single game so far, in Ricard's absence and in Likely's absence, then he would have been subject to waivers, being that had reached its limit, its max. So Brent Urban and Zaire Mitchell Payton are both being signed to the 53-man roster. Okay, so that kind of begs the question. One, I don't think they have any kind of imminent timetable for a return for Pat Ricard. And then obviously that begs the question, is Travis Jones going to be good to go, knowing that Brent Urban is coming up to the 53-man roster? CJ Okoye, this is his Ravens debut, had a really good summer for them at defensive tackle. And Josh Tupou was just signed to the practice squad along with Taven Bryan earlier this week. So again, it's gut check time right now, guys. It is straight up gut check time for a depleted, thin defensive line that looks like this. Travis Jones, if he can go. Again, he's listed as questionable. If he can go. John Jenkins, thought he played well, actually. It was one of the lone bright spots in that defense on Monday against the Lions. Brent Urban, the rookie, Aeneas Peebles, Josh Tupou, and CJ Okoye. Look, let me go to the statistics right now just so you guys can see how underwhelming this Chiefs offense has been from a rushing attack perspective. I've already mentioned it once, and I'll show you it again. Patrick Mahomes is their leading rusher right now. He's got 125 yards on the ground. Pacheco has 92 through 3 weeks. Kareem Hunt, RB2, if you will, has 81. So, again, this is not a group that, from an offensive standpoint, has scared you on the ground. But they could be looking at this as a get-right game, given what just happened on Monday night against the star-studded duo that is Montgomery and Gibbs. And now Zach Orr and company got to dig deep. They got to dig as deep as they ever have. Because while this isn't a must-win by any stretch of the imagination, and while they could still very well be in a position where 3-3 is where they are going into the bye. And quite honestly, given the injuries, given the way this defense has come out so far this year, that would not be the end of the world, knowing how, quote unquote, soft, at least when you look at the schedule, it is directly out of the bye, with games like Chicago and Miami directly following that bye week. So again, I'm not calling it a must win, or refuse to do that, matter of fact, in week 4. But from an optic standpoint, the psychological impact of a win at Arrowhead, a place that Lamar has never won before. He's only won one head-to-head matchup with Mahomes since he was drafted to Baltimore in 2018. Obviously, this would go a long way. They need to lean on guys like Travis Jones if he can go. And I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to 100%. This makes me think about something very important, being that we are about 5 weeks or so away from this year's trade deadline. And what it makes me think about specifically is some of the candidates that the Ravens may have to overpay for. They always stress value here. They always have, always will, and I respect that. I also respect their draft strategy. I respect their due diligence when it comes to the compensatory pick formula. And I respect how, for the most part, over their 30 years, they've gone about building teams from the inside out. I guess that you beg to differ on that in recent seasons, given some of their draft strategies, but you get the point. They're in a position right now where they have to go approach the sellers, if you will. And what do I mean by sellers? Teams that will be selling key players within their organization between now and November 4th, when the 4 p.m. Eastern deadline hits, the trade deadline that is across the league. I'm talking about players like New York's Kayvon Thibodeau or Miami's Jalen Phillips. Who else comes to mind for you guys? Those are a couple off the top of my head that could potentially be out there as candidates. And look, I think right now, if you're the Ravens organization and you're really in the of the belief that you are in win now mode. This has not gone the way that you hoped it would so far through the first few weeks. You're banged up defensively. You don't have imminent timetable returns potentially for key players like Nnamdi Madubuike. Kyle Van Noy is on the other side of 30. He's played really solid, reliable football for you for the last couple of years. But overall, he is a Band-Aid, and I mean no disrespect to him whatsoever as a player. He's not going to be here in the next couple of years in all likelihood. You got to go out and make a trade. It's now or never. Lamar is in his window, and that window is temporary right now, both from a Lamar Jackson prime standpoint and in the here and now, the way that this team is constructed. And if you don't go get a presence for yourself up front, you are going to make life extremely hard for level 2 and level 3 of Zach Orr's defense. But most importantly, you're going to make life really hard for Lamar Jackson in this offense. And I think they've been pressing a little bit because there's almost an understanding, a level of pressure where they feel like, man, we got to go out and hang 35, 40 points to be competitive every single week. The margin for error is razor thin with the way this defense has showed up this year. And I mean absolutely no disrespect to the defensive line members that you see on this screen right here. They are professionals. And my hope is that they go out and prove why they're professionals coming up tomorrow in Kansas City. But it's bleak right now. You've got young rookies that are playing significant snaps and significant moments on all 3 levels of this defense. And I don't know if all are ready, to be quite honest with you. Malachi Starks, while his future seems bright, he's a rookie. While Teddy Buchanan has seemingly flat out won the weak side linebacker competition between him and Trenton Simpson, he's a rookie. While Mike Green and his explosiveness and some of the God-gifted traits and athleticism and bend that he showcased in the preseason is really promising and encouraging, he's a rookie. Nnamdi Madubuike out for the next 4 weeks, as is Broderick Washington. We'll see where Kyle Van Noy is off a hamstring that can linger, especially when you're 33 years old. The Ravens got to go make a move now. They should have made a move yesterday. Because Taven Bryan and Josh Tupou, again, they are professionals. They get paid as they should. But they are not coming in and fixing this run defense overnight. Josh Tupou spent some time with the Ravens last year. There was some familiarity there that I'm sure led to the confidence of them bringing him into the practice squad. And as a result, he's going to be a game day elevation for tomorrow. They have a lot of trust in Brent Urban. Brent is on the back 9 of his career. I love his length. I love his pride. I love his love for the Ravens. He's not coming in and saving this defense overnight. And so sometimes, as much as it's been fun to watch the masterful way that Eric DeCosta goes about his business over the years, whether it be through the draft, whether it be free agency strategizing, whether it be just team building overall, sometimes you got to go away from some of your philosophies when your back's against the wall the way that it is right now. This is not a defense that's going to lead this team to a championship. This is a defense that's going to get in the way of a championship run. And while some of the numbers are skewed, given that it's only 3 weeks and given that 2 of the 3 opponents so far have been high flying in Buffalo and Detroit, I don't even know, had it been average opponents so far through the first 3 weeks, would this defense statistically rank average? I can't confidently say that. And so what I'm saying right now with conviction, sure hope that they zig or zag, however you want to say it, away from some of their philosophies, perhaps overpay, be willing to give up some of that capital they have from a draft perspective and go get a guy. Go get a guy because you need a guy right now. Be willing to part ways with some of that capital that you have right now within your arsenal. Be willing to part ways potentially with a player or 2 You have got to go get a guy because your key guy is down right now in Nnamdi Madubuike and may very well be for 4+ weeks when it's all said and done, having just been placed on injury reserve officially. Ken McCusick making some notes here on Twitter within the hour in terms of what Zach Orr and this Ravens defense might have to do personnel-wise, some scenarios that could be in play come tomorrow. He says, I'm very interested to see how the Ravens are going to line up on obvious passing downs with their current personnel. They have an overtaxed outside linebacker core with Ajabo playing few snaps, just 6 against the Lions. Remember, he was called up, or I should say he was active for the first time this season. And 4 defensive linemen who are primarily run stuffers. Could use 3 outside linebackers plus Peebles and risk the possibility of fatigue. Could use 2 and 2, including John Jenkins, Aeneas Peebles, Adafe Owe, and Mike Green. Remember, even Adafe's snap count has been limited so far this year. And ultimately, he concludes with no choices seem good without Travis Jones and Nnamdi Madubuike. And again, we do not know whether or not Travis Jones will be out there. He was listed as questionable yesterday, banged up with a knee. He dealt with an ankle last year. When he is healthy, when he is out there, he is somebody that commands the presence of double teams. That's the force that he brings to this defense. That's the type of space that he's capable of clogging when it comes to defending the run. But Travis sure isn't the same without Nnamdi in there, without Broderick in there. And that is, if he does go, that is going to be reality for him, should he be able to. I appreciate you guys for being with me on this Saturday. Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. Team USA is getting smacked at Bethpage in the Ryder Cup. A couple good college football games. How about last night in Charlottesville? Did you guys watch that game? Oh, Florida State, man, got humbled at Virginia. What an unbelievable end to that in overtime. I was watching that with one eye open. It's been a fun weekend. And hopefully you guys are enjoying yourselves as well. Thanks to ProfitX for continuing to sponsor the program. If you use code BobbyB right now when visiting ProfitX.co, you'll get up to $200 in profit cash on all your plays for the first 30 days. Again, that's ProfitX.co. You can start winning real money predicting sports. You'll get better odds than traditional sports books because you're playing against others, not the house. And with ProfitX, you can request your own odds, play with confidence, and get super fast payouts straight to your bank, card, or even crypto. You can win real money at ProfitX.co, predicting sports in 40-plus states. Some of them available are now on the screen right now. Florida, Texas, California, Maryland, New York. Just a few of the many where ProfitX is available to you. And if you click on ProfitX.co and search whatever platform you're watching me on today, again, a lot of the college football spreads are up here right now. That LSU game is going to be something. Anybody got a score on that right now? It's a hell of a game. That's what I was just watching in downtown St. Petersburg on a Saturday. I was going to say Friday, on a Saturday in South Florida. It is cooking out here, by the way. But just for the purpose of this conversation, let's just see if the line, last time we checked, the Ravens were 2.5-point favorites, but now Nnamdi is officially, I guess he was ruled out already by yesterday when I was live, but let's just see for shits and giggles if this line is shifted at all. It is not. It is still at -2.5. Ravens are 2.5-point road favorites at Arrowhead, where they have never won in the Lamar Jackson era. The over-under is set at 48. There's a bunch of passing props for you. 18.5 total pass completions for Lamar. You going over or under on that? What about passing yards? Set at 225.5. Mahomes, you see his lines from a completion and touchdown standpoint. And again, Mahomes has led the way for them from a rushing attack perspective, which is somewhat surprising. But who knows? You never know. The Chiefs could be licking their chops right now, led by Isaiah Pacheco, knowing what this Ravens run defense has looked like, and it does not rank favorably right now league-wide whatsoever. As a defense, this is the 32nd ranked overall group. They're 30th against the run, 31st against the pass, 31st in scoring, 24th on third down, 21st in fourth down, and 28th inside the 20s in the red zone. And again, it's early. Some of these are skewed, but we know that this has reared its ugly head before for 10 weeks to be exact from a passing defense standpoint last year. We'll have to see when it's all said and done coming up through week 4 through 4 weeks where they stand. Lamar is 1-5 in his head-to-head against Mahomes. I know I pounding this down your throat. Whoa. But got to continue to reiterate it because this is a monkey that they're trying to get off their back. 57% completion for Lamar against the Chiefs. 6-3 touchdown to interceptions ratio and a total QBR of 55. It's been anything but for Mahomes on the other side. Yeah, I know. Pause and a half. Jesus Christ. Must have been the cigar kicking in. A little buzz, a little stogie buzz on this Saturday in South Florida. What are you guys all up to today? What's going on in your neck of the woods? I'll do pregame coverage at 2 o'clock coming up tomorrow for the pregame. And thanks to Charm City Spirits, we will give away 2 bottles. They're over on top of my fridge right now. 1 bourbon whiskey, 1 vodka, courtesy of the Ravens' 30-year anniversary celebration. So look forward to that. All you got to do, and you can get a head start right now if you want, but all you have to do is follow Charm City Spirits on Instagram, subscribe to the Bobby Baltimore YouTube channel, and then in tomorrow's live stream, leave a comment with the hashtag BobbyB, and I look forward to that. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. But if you're just tuning in, and there's over 600 of you right now on this college football Saturday, you guys know where the Ravens stand right now. Nnamdi Madubuike has been placed on injured reserve. The optics and some of the speculation, I think, were warranted. And it's ominous right now moving forward. It's gut check time for this Ravens interior defensive line. Broderick Washington's been placed on IR as well. And that's where the Ravens stand, depleted and thin going into a Kansas City Chiefs team that's going to be just as desperate, if not more desperate, than the Ravens tomorrow at Arrowhead. Broderick dealing with an ankle. Travis Jones dealing with a knee. He's been listed as questionable. And, of course, Nnamdi Madubuike, that neck. It's injured reserve. I guess, technically speaking, that's better than it could have been. I guess the alternative would have been season-ending IR. With this designation, at least, it gives him a chance to go after 4 weeks. But, again, some of the messaging around it just begs the question, how serious is this? And why aren't they giving us more context on it? Some of you in the live chat I see have a bad taste in your mouth. You think it's season ending. There's nothing to suggest that. It's outside the optics, outside some of the lack of clarity that has come with this. So I just got to sit tight, wait for more information, and know that the Ravens are mightily thin, dangerously thin with this defensive line going into Kansas City Chiefs territory tomorrow. It's a 4:25 kickoff. And the Ravens are reeling right now. Make no mistake about it. They are reeling. We've been chatting about it and a whole lot more when it comes to football, the Ryder Cup, college football, you name it, in the Bobby Baltimore Discord server. And right now, if you click on the link, holy hell, Go To Thomas left me a encyclopedia. And I don't know what this take is. But wow, okay, that's just an example of the type of dialogue that goes on in here. And right now, you can become member number 949. Who's going to be member number 950? Who's it going to be? There's a pinned comment right now in the live chat for free access to join this community. It is not always going to be free. I just dropped the other link, which is the same one, into the live chat currently right now if you can't find the pinned comment. But it's a 24/7 hub for conversations surrounding Baltimore sports, and it is free to join. Who's going to be member number 949 and 950 to make us 950 out? I'm actually curious what the hell Go To Thomas was talking about. By the way, Steve Loop, shout out Mr. Loop, Tyler's father, Ravens kicker. I know he's traveling to this Kansas City game. What a great guy he is. Mixing it up in here with Romy Raven, Germany's finest. Let's go ahead and show him a little bit of love here. But yeah, Mr. Loop, great to have him part of this community. Go To Thomas writes, here's the absolute worst part to me. Since our loss, I've been watching some Chiefs content as well, just to see what it's like for their fans, since they are way more used to being absolutely dominant than we are in the playoffs. Yet, in all seriousness, go take a look at their chats at the comments on their content creators' channels, and you know what they are acting like 10 times better fans than our guys are. I have seen a ton of comments and listened to our content creators as much as anyone, and all our fans are like, quote, "We aren't spoiled because we haven't had the hardware in forever to be spoiled." Yet the fans who should be crying like babies because they are spoiled with the hardware are doing nothing. I've seen, but okay, I don't. This is like a run-on sentence. But Tim, if you, or is it Tomas? Go to Mas? Got Tomas? Go Thomas. Anyway, Tomas, if you'd like to come on the program, please, you're more than welcome to. That's the Discord server, and that is a very quick live stream because I'm going to get dinner with my cousin. So I appreciate you guys, as always, for dropping by. Pre-game coverage starts at 2 o'clock tomorrow for a 4:25 game between the Ravens and Chiefs. I look forward to hanging out with you guys, and I look forward to catching up on all things Week 4 coming up tomorrow. Thanks to Prophet X, thanks to MyBookie, thanks to Preston Automotive Group, and thanks to all of you for the support that you continue to give, whether it's here on YouTube, in the Twitter space, where you can follow me at Bobby Baltimore, on the Discord channel, wherever. I feel you guys. I appreciate you. I'll catch up with you soon.